Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to some incredible news from the computer chess world. Stockfish 15, the most powerful engine in the world, has lost its throne to LCZero in the Cup 11 finals after many years of pure domination. I'm not sure what happened. It was really wild to see because Stockfish played now many of these top events. We have seen some great TCEC seasons, we have seen some TCEC Cup finals, we have seen some computer bullet chess championships, blitz chess championship, rapid chess championships, classical type format championships. We have seen even this Fisher random championships in which Stockfish won every event that it's played. But not only that Stockfish won this event, Stockfish brutalized its opponent with a huge difference in result. So it was really sort of an epic era by Stockfish in which it was so dominant that no one could even come close to this engine, and it was really wild how Stockfish performed in the last couple of years. But now LCZero won the Cup 11 finals, and I'm not really sure what happened. I'm really not an engineer. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but actually something like this we could have expected, because I've seen now many times when Stockfish is playing maybe a direct duel against one top engine like the Dragon or LCZero, that it loses the direct duel. What I mean about the direct duel is when you have to play one bad opening or something and then you win the game, and then your opponent plays the reversed opening also in the same line, and then you can make maybe a draw and then you win the direct duel. So Stockfish many times I've seen now makes maybe a draw with the white pieces and then loses the reverse game, so it loses the direct duel against Dragon or LCZero, but still wins this top event like the computer bullet chess championships, as I said, and all of these events that I've already named. So it still wins these events, but sometimes loses the direct duel. So this, I think, was a huge mark that Stockfish still has room for improvement. And also we have to say the Stockfish 15 version is not so much stronger than the Stockfish 14 engine. It only gained a couple of rating points, so it wasn't really a huge improvement. I think there is a sort of an era of stagnation here by Stockfish 15, and I think LCZero has improved in the last couple of weeks. So it's now maybe even a new era in which LCZero will be the most powerful engine. I'm not sure. I really don't know where are rooms for improvement here for Stockfish, but it's really incredible that finally Stockfish lost a super final against LCZero. And what was the critical moment of the super final was actually in the last two games, in which again we have this direct duel in which LCZero played against the bad opening that was prearranged by the organizer. Because if you have followed this top engine games, then the organizer are always setting up maybe a wild position that gives always white the edge, and the black has then to defend the position. And in this particular case, LCZero won the game with the white pieces, but then managed to play a draw in the reverse game with the black pieces. That was, I think, the crucial moment of the super event, and as I said, LCZero managed to get the draw and won then the TCEC Cup 11 final. So I will show you the link to the tournament in the description below, so you can also check it out. You can maybe download also the other games, download also maybe some other games, have fun, maybe analyze really the most epic, the most brutal games that are played now. But let's see now what happened in this reverse game. So as I said, we're now in the game in which LCZero had to defend a bad position, we have to say it, with the black pieces against the monster against Stockfish 15. So let's see now the game. It was really wild because here, in order to defend the position, you have to find a wild line in which you sacrifice the queen. So this kind of stuff I think can only happen in top engine world. Be prepared, this is again sick brutal chess from another dimension. So let's see now the game. So Stockfish opened with the move e4, but it didn't basically open. This was still the prearranged line by the organizer. So after knight to f3, knight to c6, and now after knight to c3, the 3 knights variation, we have now the so-called Steinitz defense with the move g6. And that was the last move that was prearranged now by the organizer. And as I said, LCZero won the game with the white pieces in this particular position, really brutalized Stockfish. Now after move g6, here Stockfish played d4, we have e takes d4, knight to d4, and after bishop to g7 by Leela, Stockfish continues with bishop to e3. So everything is based placed around this square d4. We have really a nice grip around the square, so it's almost like the Sicilian, but of course not the Sicilian. In the Sicilian you trade off the c pawn for a d pawn. Now we have a similar idea, you trade it off with the e pawn, but we have some ideas of the diagonal Sicilian, or maybe it's of some modern or Perch defense ideas. So the dark square bishop is now really the most epic piece here in black's position. So in the continuation now d6, pretty standard stuff. We have queen to d2, knight to f6, and after move f3. What white is preparing here, and you should always maybe try this kind of an idea against the fianchetto. You should try bishop to h6, g4, h4, h5, trying to trade off the bishops, maybe build a queen and rook battery on the h file, and after black castles, of course, deliver checkmate even, or at least threaten to deliver checkmate on the h file. So this is, I think, the most obvious attack here from white's perspective. After kingside castling, now queenside castling here by Stockfish. So you see Stockfish castle queenside, black has castle kingside, so it becomes now this opposite side attack game where the kings are on opposite side, and who is faster on the attack against his opponent kings will probably win the game. So it's, I think, the common strategy of this types of position. But now Leela C0 hits the center with the move d5. So Leela wants simplification here. Leela knows that probably if you don't challenge the pawn on e4, if you play maybe something passive, if you try maybe to break here, then I think with knight to c6, b takes c6, again this method g4, h4, h5, and I think white is faster on the attack. Black needs to regroup, maybe open the b file somehow. Black needs to make many moves in order just to create a simple threat or something. I think white's attack should be much faster. So after move queenside castling, Leela plays immediately against this flank attack idea, because when you are getting attacked on the flanks, or at least your opponent is threatening to attack you on the flanks, then you should counterplay in the center. So that's why this move d5 makes, of course, huge sense. But look at this, the evaluation here is already a 1.5 in white's favor. So who can defend this kind of a position against Stockfish? So probably no one, only Leela C0. And see now how this defense will work. So here, after e takes d5, knight to d5, we have now bishop to g5, and now comes already the critical moment of the game. Here, in human level, only the move that has been played was the move queen to d7. So no other moves have been played in chess history except the move queen to d7. If you try, for instance, f6 here, then you get this one, knight to c6. Look at this, knight takes b takes c6, and now we can even simplify the game with knight to d5, or we'll play bishop to f4, and we get out of this mess. You cannot pick up the bishop, you get lost here on the d file. So it's, I think, again, simply winning here for white. So that's why after move bishop to g5, you see also this queen to d7 method is not working because it seems a little bit too passive. What Leela C0 played here is really wild. Leela C0 sacrificed the queen here with knight takes c3. Really wild stuff. That's now even a theoretical novelty. This move has never been played in chess history. At least I'm not seeing any games in the database in this particular line. So now, after the obvious bishop to d8, Leela goes knight takes a2, which comes with a check, king to b1, and now after rook to d8, look at this. The rook is hitting the knight on the d file. The knight creates a tension here. The bishop creates a tension. Okay, maybe the knight is a little bit lost here. But even if you try c3, this wasn't played in the game, but even if you try maybe to regroup here from white's perspective, if you try to keep the position compact somehow, because this d file attack is really wild to defend, then actually look at this, knight to d4, c takes d4, bishop to e6 is coming into the game. The knight is defended. Okay, you have now two minor pieces for the queen, but you're getting destroyed around the square d4. Maybe you can try to escape with queen to a5 out of this attack, but now with bishop to d4, maybe queen to c7. Look at this, we're getting our knight back. We'll play bishop to f5. The d3 is covered, so I would not really love to play any more this game from white's perspective. Actually, here the evaluation is in black's favor. Really wild stuff. Who knows what kind of a calculation is this? So look at this. Actually, Leela sacrificed the queen and forces now a reaction of white. So as we said, c3 is basically not good. So that's why Stockfish goes into this particular line. Knight takes c6. Gives the queen back. After rook to d2, we have rook takes d2, b takes c6, and now after king to king to a2. It seems so that again something went wrong here for black, because white is up the exchange, has of course here a healthy pawn structure. What white needs to do is of course simplify the game, but Leela plays a beautiful bishop to e6. Of course we have now the move b3, and now after bishop to c3, rook to d1, now bishop to e5, and here Leela is trying to regroup, tries of course somehow to keep the position compact. We have now bishop to c4, and after bishop to c4, b takes c4. Actually, this went a little bit wrong here, maybe for Stockfish. Stockfish maybe, I think, even miscalculated this position. After b takes c4, okay, you have simplified the game. You got rid of the bishop here. Black doesn't have the activity with both of these bishops. But what black has gained here is a supported pass pawn. And look at this. If you don't react correctly, we just push the pawn here, even to the square a1. Now with bishop to d6, we can even paralyze the d file. So you cannot include the rook on the d file. If you get the rook on the d file, if you get it somehow on the 7th rank, then you can be locked with the bishop to d6. So your rook could be trapped even here on this square. So you cannot occupy the 7th rank. So the main strength that you're trying to do with your rooks is of course occupy the 7th rank. Maybe build sort of a battery on the 7th rank. It's not working. So it's going further and further into a drawish sequence. Okay, it's not obvious that this is a draw, but with every move that Stockfish is playing, it gets slightly worse for white. Here in the continuation, after bishop to d6, h4, we have a5, h5, king to g7, simply improving the position of the king, and Leela just pushes the pawn further. We have a passer, h6, king to f6, c5, we have bishop to c5. Here Stockfish is desperately trying to open some spaces. If you try, as we said, rook to d7, then we get this one. Bishop to d6 is simply locking the rook. So here in the continuation, after move c5, we have bishop to c5, rook to f4, a check, nothing special. We have g4, bishop to d6, hitting the rook, rook to e4, king to f8, simply escaping with the king. And after move c3, we have now the move g5. Here Stockfish, LeelaZero is trying to play the move f6, keeping many of the pawns on dark squares, and when that happens, we have also clear route. We can also attack this weak pawn on h6. So there's simply no good square here for white to break and enter into position. There's simply not a good way for white to get somehow the rooks into the game. The position is basically paralyzed for the rooks. Here after move c4 and c5, in this position, both engines agree to a draw. And actually, in this particular position, the evaluation is slightly better for white, nothing spectacular, 0.4. So if black again plays the game correctly, this should probably lead into a drawish line. So as we said, f6, bishop to e5 is now the goal, king to f7, king to g6. There's simply no good way here for white to include the rooks into the game. So as I said, with this draw, LeelaZero won the TCEC Cup 11 competition. So what to say? Incredible stuff. Great performance by LeelaZero with his Immortal Queen Sacrifice defense, sort of really wild stuff. This kind of stuff can only happen in top engine games. Incredible. So as I said, this is now maybe something new in some other competitions that are now going on. Still Stockfish is in the lead, so maybe, I'm not sure. As I said, I'm not sure what happened. Maybe someone can guess something. Maybe you can write something down if you're maybe a professional in computer engineering or something. Maybe you can give me an explanation, because this what happened was really wild. Incredible performance here by LeelaZero. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed the game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting defensive ideas for sure. If you want to see more brutal tactical games like this, check out our commented chess games played by computers, with some more games played by AlphaZero, LeelaZero, Stockfish, Dragon Engine, and many more. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos of what to say. Chess is the best, of course.